Erin, what's up?
Hey Charlie, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. Working from home, which has been the norm for Perform Better for the last several years, right?
Yes. Although I still go in the office every now and then, but yeah, for the most part, I'm home.
The office, meaning the what used to be the office, that's just a big, giant, empty space, and the gym.
Correct. Yes,
Yeah,
Chris's office. Chris's
yeah,
his desk, we'll say.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, obviously there'll be a lot of links here to Perform Better, but before we get into some of the other things. This is clearly a very important time for everybody in the Perform Better family. This is, at least at the time of filming, who knows whenever people watch this, etc. But this is the summit season, and I think what maybe 2 weeks, no, probably like 3 or 4 weeks is the first one in Chicago, right?
Yeah. It's 3 weeks. It's crazy.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
saying I can't believe how like this it's already almost June. I'm
Ah,
like,
well, that's Oh, I have very little tracking of all those things, and the way I go about things, every day just ends in Y, so they're all the same to me. I don't have weekends, and I'm not complaining about this, but I don't always track these things. And the Chicago's usually the second one, but up until the last couple years, where they seem to get all switched around. If I
yeah.
go back to the first summit, which ironically was Chicago, I'm guessing you would have been introducing me, and I know what I remember was at least one or two dozen short jokes.
I knew you were gonna say that. I
Had
knew.
to, had to.
Was not first of all, I was just trying to like break the ice a little bit and make sure everybody was listening. And I got everyone's attention and then you took over. It's the typical Tom Plummer move, like invite them in and then boom, you're off stage and cue
Okay,
Charlie. It's pretty
and then
much
and then I think you can continue with that dialogue, saying that you will usually have some type of snarky insult for every speaker. That's so the
it's the Jersey in me. I can't help it. The Jersey
well,
in me
look,
just comes out and it just
whether
it's
it's what I'll tell you what though, whether it's you doing it, and obviously you're a former athlete. I have to believe everybody at Perform Better has had something to do with sports at some point. If you don't get ragged on, that means people don't like you.
correct.
Uh,
We used to
if
say
you're in
that
a
all
locker room, like the interns, be like, "Oh my God, they're killing me." Yo,
the
trust
time.
me, if they weren't killing you, it would be much, much worse than if
Yeah.
you're getting ragged on. So,
Yeah. We
and
tell a lot of
anybody
people that.
listening, yeah, anybody listening that's been in locker room or sports knows that what I'm saying is true. You want to get picked on at some point, because then you're gonna be the one that picks on other people.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
It's like a nice ritual hazing type of thing without being hazed. It's
it's and when people get that, yeah,
yeah.
it's not I don't think it's like a rite of passage. I actually think the opposite would be the case, where when speakers are not sociable, or they're in and out, and it's not about kissing anybody's ass. That's, I swear, that's not what this is. But when they don't you know they don't shake hands a little bit, and in professional wrestling it's very, very customary that you literally go up and shake people's hands when you're new to the locker room. They're not, they usually don't last very long if they're not even one and done. And I think we saw that a little bit recently. So
I've
um,
I've seen a handful of them.
yeah, more than one, right?
Yeah.
All right. Uh, well, look, the short joke is whatever it is. It's I
Not
can't
funny
do much.
anymore. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It was so like 10 years ago.
Well, a lot has transpired. That would have been 2011 or 2012. I know when Chris usually introduces me, he looks at me like I'm supposed to count the date. I don't remember. I do remember because I when we set this up, we were going to do this a couple of days ago, and I'm like, we just were talking, and I couldn't. It wasn't in text. It wasn't an email. And then I found it in Instagram, and you had commented on something that I had shared to do the monorail crawl at Disney,
Yeah.
and I'm like, we did,
I
or well,
know.
we failed at it, but we did do
Well, that's
it.
the point. We stopped. We stopped once we got to what the heck was it? Was it the contemporary?
So
That was fun.
I don't know. It's more of where we stopped. I don't because what I don't remember is what we actually accomplished.
It
Because
wasn't
for those
much.
for those that know me, for all so now this is what 2011, 12. This is at least 15 years, and then of course I was an attendee, but. Most people know I'm not a big drinker. Not that I'm against it or I'll never drink, but I think I showed up to that one. And there's a famous Four Loko story to that because so I don't remember where we were, but we had dinner at the California Grill.
Yep.
Me, you, Allie weren't married yet, and Ada,
Yes.
and I think we I don't remember if how. I know the plan was to do the monorail call, but we wound up seeing the fireworks. Maybe I'll send Heather some pictures to splice this in to confirm said story. So
Yeah.
you were like, we should do that. I'm like, we did do that.
I meant like finish it. We gotta pick up where we left off. I
I
just have a picture of us sitting there holding up the menu because whatever place we stopped at had like a funny name, and of course me and Allie were just being our normal disgusting selves, and we just couldn't stop laughing. And I still have that picture, so I'll have to send that to Heather too. But I swear that's as far as we got. We went there and then dinner, and then that was that.
Oh, so that maybe that's why I don't remember because you're basically saying we did not execute any of the crawl. We just stayed at the Contemporary.
Yeah, so because I was at the Grand Floridian and I met you guys. I think we made like one stop and we had like a drink and then we went to dinner and then
Okay,
that was
so I
that.
would have
There was
I
no
have no
monorail.
memory. I have no memory of Grand Floridian. I do have memory of what's it called? The bar that's right next to Chef Mickey's. I remember
Yeah,
that. I certainly remember upstairs.
yeah.
I don't.
Then we
It would have been the wave. It would have been the wave at that time downstairs in the Contemporary. It wouldn't have been Steakhouse 71 yet.
no, it wasn't that. It was I forget. I'm gonna have to pull up the picture. I'm gonna have
So
to
then there would have been Tambu Lounge and Polynesian. I don't think we made it there.
no.
And in the Grand Floridian, there would have been like I don't even know like because
We didn't end up going there. I came from there to meet you guys and then
all right.
we were like,
Anyway,
oh, we'll end up there and that I'm telling you, that's
well, part of this whole even though this is a big run up for the next T equals R, part of all these things is demonstrating that these are real people talking, real relationships. What else can I remember?
real
The
failure. We tried
huh?
to do a monorail trip and that totally failed.
Yeah, fully
We
failed.
gotta try
The
again, you know.
I remember getting a phone call, which may have been if it. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to say 2 months, but maybe more than 1 month ahead of a very important day that you tore your ACL again,
Yeah.
and there was some concern that if you'd be able to walk down the aisle, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, you will be able to walk down the aisle,
Yeah.
and then I believe the concern would be even if you're in a brace, and I said, well given whatever type of wedding dress you choose, I'm sure no one will even know you're in a race. But so the wedding was how many weeks after ACL?
It was 2 weeks after I tore it and then I
Oh
got
my
surgery
God!
2 weeks later.
So you were 2 weeks after. Oh, so 1 month, 2 weeks after surgery, basically.
Uh, I didn't have surgery before the wedding.
Okay, so
We put
we're basically 2 weeks. Yeah, you should be able to walk, and
I was totally
obviously
fine. Yeah,
yeah, it's not like you're sprinting. If you're sprinting, a young lady would be sprinting the other direction,
right,
not towards the altar.
correct.
So,
Could have just hopped right
but
in the car and peaced out.
yeah, be like, all right, that's yeah. But I don't think it. I mean, if anybody knew, it was because they were told. But
Right. Probably tell
I'm pretty sure nobody knew until maybe there might have been less dancing than. But even a slow dance, you wouldn't. You should as an
yeah, I
athlete.
finished it right away. I was total. I was rocking. I mean, what am I gonna do? Tear it more? It was
But that's another thing. What's the worst thing that could happen? Tear your ACL?
exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
check. The
Yeah,
tell folks about the whatever that would it be a mansion because that's very normal in Newport, but that was quite a grounds that the wedding was at.
Yeah, it was nice. It was Rosecliff Mansion where they filmed True Lies and a couple other movies. So we rented it out and acted like we owned the place for a couple hours. Surprised we didn't get
Oh,
kicked out because, of course, Rob needed pictures on top of the lions out front, which are like, do not touch the lions. And there he is, all as small as Rob is, sitting on this, ancient lion statue, which I
meaning
actually never saw
it
that
could
picture.
collapse at any
Ancient
moment. It made out of paper mache. Uh,
statue.
I
Exactly.
think the best picture that I remember is, and this might tie into your short jokes. I am standing inside the fireplace.
Shut up. I didn't see that.
Okay, so not only am I able to like comfortably stand inside the fireplace, it is Don and I standing inside the fireplace. So at 6'2" or whatever Don is, like that's how big the fireplace was. So this is some Harry Potter shit right here in this place. This
Yeah.
is the I also remember that uh getting out of the Uber was very precarious for my suit because they don't make suits to fit me very well. So that was scary, but I obviously I did just fine. So yeah, that's yeah, and maybe the last thing I could bring up here. So there would have been a couple years later again at the summit, uh, and I'll get these pictures to Heather.
Poor
Yeah,
Heather.
we walk in and just hand me Mac, and I'm holding her. She can't be more so you were months. This is months old,
Yeah,
and
she's like
I
2 months
yeah
old.
yeah
Actually,
and I'm
not
hold
a month and a half about.
well it was in Providence. It might have been the first time that you guys brought her around,
Yeah.
and I'm holding her, and I just like the picture because my arm looks jacked, which is very memorable because what I'm saying is true. So,
100% it's true. I do have that picture too.
how old is she now?
She's going to be 2 in a week and a half.
Okay, so this was two summers ago then.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, part of this is to have some type of conversation that maybe can make some folk when you see two people smiling and you know it's genuine, people listening to this are smiling right now and they don't even realize it. Just to see two friends reminisce a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
We have plenty of stories to reminisce about.
That's all right. We'll cut it there. Here's what I want to do, Erin, from a clinical level. In T equals R of the foot, there's a significant segment that 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 we demonstrate a lot of the what I call the toys that we're using to train the foot, and it's interesting because whether it's a device or any type of technology, etc. These are all things that I genuinely believe that you really can't do without them. It doesn't mean you have to have them and you can't train anybody, but I believe that some of these things are actually multiplying the effectiveness of the training. So what I want you to do is, I'll do some listening here. I've got my list that if I keep reverting my eyes, all my notes are up on the whiteboard up there. But I want you to talk about the products that Perform Better has. Um, Obviously, with full transparency, that this is a company that is part of my family, and I absolutely hope that people can support them. But just to give people an idea of some of the products that are out there, whether it's for rehab or training, it's all the same, related specifically to the foot. And I'll start you off with, because we talk a lot about balance, and that's a great thing, except it's so global that I don't really use the word a lot. But obviously, standing on something that moves, like the AirX pad, but AirX has almost become like everything that's wobbles that is in a square is now called an AirX pad. But so there's a lot of other brands, including Perform Better Zone. So why don't you start there in terms of what do we have that we can stand on that's an unstable surface, and that can help train everything north for the purpose of balance.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, the AirX pad, that's pretty much become the staple just because AirX is the name brand. It's, the nicest material. It's, been around forever. Doesn't really break down. I've seen a couple crack over time, depending on where you live or if you leave it outside. But there's different brands, like you said, perform better. We have our economy balance pad. There's different sizes. So we have travel pads. I know AirX has one as well. There's non-slip pads. So really, I hate to say it's become like the jacuzzi name, where jacuzzi's just a brand, AirX is just a brand. So depending on how much you want to spend or which one you prefer, we have just our balance pads, or you can go with an AirX pad. Those are both foam. Moving on from there, you can get something air filled, which would be like the PV disc pillow or the DynaDisc, anything like that, which makes it a little harder just because it's more unstable than standing on a foam pad.
But
Then you can go.
AirX, you could get like almost like an entire floor.
Right.
Some of they're giant. Most people don't even know these things exist. And I'm not going to say you have to rob a bank to get these, but yeah.
Oh.
What would be the biggest AirX mat pad that you can that at least they make off the rack?
So they have a balance beam, which is probably
Yeah.
the longest. And then they have an XL pad, which is you can actually kneel on it, do more like quadruped stuff, and be able to fit on that. Um, Sometimes people think it's easier just to use two pads instead of using the big one, just from a storage standpoint or even from a price standpoint. But you're pretty open to doing anything on it just because of the size of it. So I
Yeah.
would say the XL pad's probably the largest one. It's probably like using two and a half pads together.
Well,
So yeah,
I'm very favorable to obviously dominate the ground first and then make it harder. I think people miss that boat, particularly in you know let's just call a spade, commercial physical therapy outfits. These people can't stand on one leg on the ground. I don't expect them to be able to stand on one leg on something that's more challenging to hold. But whatever it is, I'd be most favorable to something where at least your foot is flat. Like if you
right.
can't get your foot flat, I don't think that's void of all value, but that's not some place to start. So I think yeah, even the DynaDisc, you can still get your foot flat. Unless it was blown up like
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
a
say it's
big
a little harder, but still, I mean, you
yeah
can.
yeah. What is there anything else out there where at least you can get your foot flat and then it creates a some type of perturbation, some type of balance challenge?
Yeah, you have the TheraBand stability trainers, which are similar to. They have three different levels. So two of them are foam. One of them's like a harder foam, which is probably going to be the firmest out of all of them. That's probably somewhere you would want to start if you really are having trouble. They have
Yeah,
a middle one that's similar to an AirX pad, and then they have the biggest one, which is an air-filled one, which isn't as unstable as like a DynaDisc or a PB disc pillow, but because it is air-filled, it does actually give a little more instability than it would for the foam ones.
got it, got it. So as it relates to the commercial physical therapy space, I know whether it was an athletic training room or early in my career in the traditional physical therapy outfits, I'm not sure you were allowed to open up the door unless you had a BAPS board. Is that still a thing? And obviously it is, so it's rhetorical. But there's a lot of other things that they have other than this big, you know, 28-inch pizza with the blue thing that goes underneath it. So what does BAPS board have for us?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we used to carry it, and then maybe like 10 years ago we stopped carrying it. I think it became a very specific item that more PT companies would sell as opposed to like functional training equipment companies. Um, but that was popular. I have to say, maybe 20 years ago when I first started, I remember it was like Babsport, Babsport. And then it kind of just like, I don't think in my last 20 years I've had
Yeah.
anyone ask for it. Actually, maybe one time I remember once. And I was like, I haven't heard that in years.
Yeah,
Um,
I tend to think you're just filtering your feed, if you will. If you go, we don't go to those physical therapy outfits that would they'll have that. They'll have uh, a milk crate of ankle weights.
Yep.
They'll have some type of trampoline that you throw a little ball to while
Mhm.
standing on the BAPS
Yep.
board. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of,
Small business.
and then some type of motivational picture on the wall. They're going to have that. All these different things. But I actually, yeah, and this isn't scripted. You could get them,
Right.
and anybody, like, oh well, Perform Better doesn't have it. No, actually, I'm pretty sure last month or recently, Perform Better redid the University of Michigan football weight room, and what that really means is University of Michigan is using the company, uh, and they can still choose products that maybe don't get immediately associated with Perform Better, because those racks are power lift.
Right.
And oh, well, yeah, you could get Perform Better can get BAPS boards, they can get power lift equipment, then they can get everything else. So maybe maybe you do want people to be asking you about BAPS boards if you to build out their physical therapy area or their rehab area.
Yeah. Hey, I'll listen to whatever people want and try and get it for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I have
The
no problem.
what what else can you think of here?
Um, well, from the BAPS, I would say the basic wobble and rocker boards. So, the old school go side to side, go 360, change the ball underneath to make it, you know, a higher angle. We still get a lot of requests for those, which is, I mean, it's funny to me because I feel like people have like progressed past it, but then you got to remember it's still, the basic stuff still works. So,
Yeah, yeah. And
it'll,
that's kind of like a BAPS board, even though the BAPS board
right.
had a lot of bells and whistles. Not and look, we can make fun of it, and deservedly so. But these things have utility. They weren't invented for no reason. If they were invented for no reason, we're not talking about them. So some of the one and done stuff.
Yeah.
Um, what about slant boards? I think that's probably something that's very popular.
Yeah, I was gonna say slant boards are great. We have different versions of it. Again, they come with different angles. They come with different heights. But we see a ton of people still using those, and it's one of the things that we had in our gym. And everyone's like, "Why do you guys have a slant board in the gym, like for work?" I'm like, I would go in probably 3 or 4 times a day and use it just because I'd be like, it feels so nice. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those basic things that helps so much, especially I get tendonitis so quickly and I don't know how. Um, but that was one of the things that always helped. And I thought, like, no matter what, even like I'll find myself stretching my Achilles and nonstop. I'm like, why do I do this? But it's just something that has always helped me. So it's funny that I swear by a slant board. I mean, I know people are like, oh, you can go up against the wall or use a step. There's something about it that I just like, I don't know if it's a mental thing, but I just get such a better stretch using it.
There's the whether it's just the sensation of stretch, and we talk about this quite a bit. That whether it's a sensation or stretch, but anytime you force dorsiflexion, think about it. If you did that and you didn't like do anything else, you'd fall backwards.
Yeah.
To just because it's a. But if you put an anterior shift and maybe hold on to the wall, not only do you feel that stretch, but you then set yourself up for a lot of really more ideal mechanics through the foot.
Yeah.
So what we've used the slam board is not necessarily to stretch, but to do that deficit dorsiflexion toe raise, where now it's we don't have to worry about finding that long position. Um, Stretch with strength. That's a big thing that part of coaching where you and with the slant board that we put in the rack. So then they're unrack, a large amount of weight with the yoke bar. Hold on to the rack, so now you lean forward a little bit. And I'm like, guys, just put a little tension. I just need to slide my finger, or even a credit card underneath your heel, and that's our isometric stuff. It's not just the toe raise up and down. It's just because I want to keep that anterior shift. So sometimes an Achilles that's cranky, like what you're talking about, you certainly feel a stretch, but because you didn't fall backwards and tear your ACL again, you're actually also training a lot of things in the foot that could deload a cranky Achilles. So I'm a big fan of the slam board. If we're talking about slam board and stretching stuff, what about some specific tools that you can use for soft tissue stuff, whether it's in the calf or on the bottom of your foot?
Yeah. The spiky ball is probably my favorite. That one I love.
Much better
Um,
than the regular ball, right?
yeah, which
Yeah,
it's funny because I travel with a lacrosse ball at all times.
yeah, yeah.
But the spiky ball, it's that's a game changer for me. I have it in my bathroom, and every time I dry my hair or do something, it's like nonstop. That's like I do it every morning, so that's become like routine for me. I don't know. Again, it just helps me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fun. Some people are like, it hurts. I'm like, well, do it enough. It's not going to hurt. Like it just
yeah.
to me, it just feels so good. Um,
What comes after the spiky ball? The spiky ball with blades? Is it
nice.
what's
Yeah,
next?
the shank.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Um, what are some of the commercial brands that maybe not a Perform Better product? I remember there was this one thing that came in like its own little, not case, but like format. It had two balls. It had a little baby ball.
Mm,
I don't even
that
know if it's important to remember the name, but that one I remember was very
rad
useful.
roller. Yeah, rad
Yeah,
roller has
yeah, yeah. Do we still
they have
have
like
that?
different small balls and so we sell the rad roller like the two balls together that you can roll out, which I think is great. And then there's also the AccuMobility balls, which I like because they don't really roll; they kind of suction to the ground. So depending on what
That
you're doing,
yeah,
you just
that was the
hold it.
next one. That was the one I was going
Yeah.
to ask. Where they're like maybe an orange and a blue.
Yes.
See, that's
So
how I remember things. I don't remember the names of
what
them.
color? What's those
Yeah,
orange things and the blue things? Yeah.
yeah. Um, so all of those things. Like I don't know if anybody this year is doing it, but we've seen uh at the summit when somebody's talking about the foot or doing the hands-on stuff. All these things are there to try out, and I would say they're all trying to do the same thing, but some people like one better than the other.
Yeah.
Uh, where what about the roller sticks?
Yeah. The
Or
roller.
even yeah, even
Yeah.
the massage gun for the calf and things like that.
Yep, those are still great. A lot of times people want something where they don't actually have to hold it themselves or do it. They either like someone else to do it for them
Hmm.
or rolling a ball is a lot easier, which I kind of agree with. I always thought, like, what's the big deal? You're just like rolling it yourself, but then I get tired of doing it. Like, if I want to type or work at the same time, or like I said, dry my hair, I'm not going to sit there and like roll my foot with one hand and like dry my hair. So I think when you're doing it to yourself, it's a lot easier for me personally to have a ball or some sort of thing where I don't have to manually do it. Um, but at the same time, I mean, I feel like you can't beat a massage gun. That's going to dig in more than a lot of things. Same with a roller, but you can also look at like even half foam rollers, like stuff where.
I know that's on the list.
I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
jumping the gun. I was kind of like it made me think of it when you were talking about the slant boards. So I
yeah,
was
yeah.
thinking like,
When we already recorded with Lee and I,
okay.
and again all sorts of stories that
I was just
not
gonna say,
not
I wish I heard
not
that.
letting not letting anything out that didn't want to get out, just like what we did. But
Right?
several years ago, I don't think they ever put these exercises into their rotation commercially, but there was a document that was probably disseminated internally to people who they trusted, the advisors, etc. And I was privileged to have it. And one of their modules was an entire series of exercises using the half roller for the foot.
Hmm.
And you just set up in different ways because just like those orange and blue things, they're
Hmm.
flat on the bottom, but then they're round on the top. And very much like the first one, you would like if the half roller was here, you would kind of go up and over and try to just get your toes,
Yep.
then come over and just almost like fulcrum your foot. But then there's
Yeah.
a whole bunch of other drills that are targeting the midfoot and the toes, really interesting because no one
Yeah.
ever saw it before, and they're not, no one ever invented anything. They're just trying to rationalize physics in
Yeah.
this case. But you're using both sides of the roller. So I have recently ordered a lot because I think for my clients, and when they want something, we're doing well enough. I'm like, go ahead, just do it. No, I'll buy it. I don't have a. You talked about plumber earlier. We're going to talk about investing in your client. This is why there's a lot of half rollers being sent out from when I call those in. So like half rollers. Is there more than one type? I know we've got black and white for the foam rollers and different sizes. So what do we got for the foam rollers?
A lot of it's just the density that changes. So whether it's a firm density or soft, I feel like for the foot, it doesn't make as big of a difference to go with a firmer one, because you can kind of change the pressure depending on how much you apply. But I feel like when people use that for other parts of the body, they totally freak out because they have a harder time manipulating their body around a roller, where the foot is kind of, you have a little more give to it. Um, but really, it's just the density that changes for them.
Yeah, and again, with all transparency, if you can figure out how to do some of these drills without a foam roller or without one of the tools, it works. But I found that these things really become very, very valuable. What else do you have on your list? I know you were prepped a little bit for what we're going to talk about. What else can we put on here?
I was gonna say a rock mat just because it was something that I used the other night. And I used to bring it to all our shows just for me to stand on. And I know Mike Boyle did one of his talks a couple years ago and used that for his hands on, but it was something that, he was walking outside and walking on rocks all the time. And then he's like, oh, my back pain, like it feels better. And so we started to look into that. And then we came up with these rock mats. So I feel like that's something where obviously it's hitting the foot, it's different size little nubs on it, and just walking back and forth, whether you're going forward, backward, side to side, and then you just find a pressure point, and it's something that you just like. For me, I feel like everything just gets released straight up the body, but that's
Talk,
probably one of my
yeah,
favorite.
talk more about the nubs. You said they're nubs. Like, is that a
Yeah,
high science term? Like,
yeah, it's trademarked. Foam nubs.
yeah.
Those are
I'm pretty sure whether you handled it or not. Well, if I have it would be your favorite client of mine. Where I'm quite sure there's a bunch of those rock mats at Lane Johnson's house in suburban Philly in New Jersey. So he would use and the slant board, the one that's probably like he could jump on it and it's not going to
yeah.
break.
I know exactly which one.
Yes, yes.
Um, But yeah, that I feel like that's a kind of an not overlooked but underrated piece of equipment that I feel like can really help, especially for people that whether they stand all day and they have it at their desk, or something where they're just doing it as like a warm up or a cool down, just something to like get your feet. I know I'll do it for a couple minutes, and at first I'm like ow 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 ow, and then like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Hey,
But
there's I don't thumb my nose at things that maybe live in just because something's alternative. I don't know. I don't like that word because just because not a lot of people do it doesn't mean it's alternative. But I don't think reflexology exists for no reason. Now I'm not going to say that putting the rock mat in a certain spot somehow does something to one of your organs. I'm not going that far. But we most people like their feet rubbed,
yeah.
and there's actually good scientific reasons in the brain for that. So one way to get some of that, I think, is with these tools or a rock mat. Um, what else? Anything else on the list, or anything coming down the chute?
Um, the last thing, it's kind of like out there, I guess, would be because it's technically not a foot product, but it does help with the foot. Would be just rubber flooring and turf. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. How about that?
and the reason I say it, obviously, it absorbs shock. It can reduce impact on the joints. Provides consistent traction, whether you're changing direction, things like that. So I feel like that if you have the proper, flooring and what you're training on, the proper training ground, that can help a ton. And I mean, we've seen it in a lot of facilities that had, old horse mats down and they were, rock hard, and they change it to a little softer surface, or they put turf down when they're doing all their plyo stuff. It's little things like that where, I mean, it'll make your facility look completely different, but when you look at the changes to the body, um, it can change, so much just from having the right surface underneath when you're training. It's kind of like having the right shoes, I guess.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right because just based on the timing of when we did this project with number 93 at the house, the new house in Houston, we're putting flooring, and Chris sent him at least three different types of
Yeah.
flooring to decide because they. Yeah, some have more colors, but others have more density. And
Yeah.
when you're putting flooring in the garage, maybe the best flooring for what you're talking about, not a good idea to be driving over it because you can't, it'll peel up a little bit. It's not going to be glued. But how many different types of turf are there? Not necessarily colors, but are there different types of factors for turf that can be explored?
Yeah, there are. For the most part, we sell one specific kind that has the foam pad underneath it just because that's been the softest. The blades have been holding up. It holds up over time. It really doesn't break down. So that's kind of been our number one. But we do have, I mean, there's a bunch of other kinds. Some require infill, some require like a silica sand, some have rubber pellets. Some don't have a back at all. I know Todd Wright, he's big with the foot, but he likes this old school turf that, like, if you kneel on it, I feel like it's going to rip your skin apart. But he loves it without the pad because from the drills he does that are more like Gary Grayish, three planes of motion and that sort of thing, he feels like it gives better grip for his athletes when they're like trying to change direction quick. So it really comes down to what people prefer, what they're looking for, how they're using it for training. I mean, we have the infill turf outside at our house that we put down just to kind of do sprints on and things like that, but it's different than the turf that we have in our house, which is the one with the pad, which is a little more, I call it family friendly, but it's it's just because we have the kids on it all the time. But
Yeah.
it's still, I mean, you can still do all the same drills on it. It just comes down to kind of how you're using it, where it's going, and what people prefer.
So I would say whatever we have here in Florida, where obviously you guys built the gym here with Brendan and I. Um, High level professional athletes don't even comment. And I would say that whatever that form of turf is just fine because if they didn't like it, they damn sure wouldn't be using it. We could always get around putting your knee down, with a pad, so you don't get an Indian burn while you're like what you're talking about with some of the older stuff. But we're doing I would hesitate for an NFL player. We're probably going to start now, but for the what we're doing with certain players, getting to 100% deceleration and 100% cuts. Um, if it holds up with 350 and 360 pounds, is probably a decent product. We can go 25 yards here. So
Yeah.
with the end zones, that means it's probably closer to 35. But we do need some buffers areas, even when if we're doing anything other than something slow, which would not be as common. So my comment is okay. If you only have one type, it's probably okay because these guys wouldn't go near it. They wouldn't touch it if it was miserable. Just like I in my mind, I don't even think of those things. I mean, I know what bad turf is.
Yeah.
Like Pirates Cove, miniature golf in I Drive in Orlando, not far from the Contemporary at Disney. But if a basketball court is bad, an NBA player ain't going near it. They're like, yeah, we're not doing this. That's or like those all-purpose floorings, that you can play any sport on. Yeah, it might be cool for indoor field hockey, but to play basketball, you might as well destroy. Just take a sledgehammer to your knee. It'll work out better for you.
Exactly. So,
All right.
yeah.
So let's pump up a little bit of the contact information, but also If you have the summit dates there, if not, we'll make sure. Now, I mean, this is going to go out to a closed circuit first,
Okay.
but let's hit them with the contact information for the stuff that they're going to see on T equals R the foot. Pretty much almost everything they're going to be able to get through you, and I know that'll happen in a very very good customer experience.
Yeah, definitely. They could reach out to our 800 number, which is 1-800-556-7464. They can email performbetter@performbetter.com, or they can just go to performbetter.com and search any of the products. Um, yeah, that's
Fair enough.
easy enough.
Simple. Simple, simple.
You can hunt
We
us
got to
down
get
on Facebook,
we got to
Instagram.
get an 888. We got an 888 number that like
I know.
PERFOR. Like we got to figure out a way to do
I
it.
know.
1888 perform.
Yeah, right? I'm going to be
I
like
don't think.
Dial Erin or something. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
what I'm
don't
going
think
to
that'll work.
I'll be
All
like,
right,
hi.
we will see you in a couple weeks in Chicago. This is big for me because my family is now starting to get their rookie appearances. So Sam is on for Chicago, and I know Chris has been trying to get him for a long time. And
Mhm.
Kyle Bowser is on. So obviously I was on before Don, but Don in his own right has his own air. But I'm very proud that now some of my recommendations are getting their time to shine. So I'm not working in Chicago, but I'm going to be there to see them and get some ice cream at the steakhouse where they need to bring a wheelbarrow
Yes.
to bring the ice cream over to the table. So we'll do that too. All right, Erin,
Actually, I
good to
talked to
go.
Don this
Thank you
morning, and
very
he
much.
said we're going.
And then
Don said
and
we're
then we
going.
will try again. We'll try again for the monorail crawl when the time is right.
Thank you. Just let me know. I'll just head down. I'll get a
Oh
baby
yeah,
soda.
like you have to twisting my arm to go to
Yeah,
Disney, right?
Don. Yeah, mine too.
Yeah. All right. Thank you
All
very
right.
much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.